604, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you. John LaBeouf producing. We're starting you off at 46 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. What's happening, y'all? Who's ready to get this Wednesday started off? We got a lot of ground to cover this morning. We are going to talk legislative priorities outside of the fiscal bills. State Representative Paula Davis is going to join us at 7:15. We're going to talk about the death penalty and how it is now back to being enforced. Attorney General Liz Murrill, 7:35. We're going to talk insurance and why a special session is damn near absolutely necessary. Tim Temple at 8:05. Women's health with the Pennington Biomedical Research Center at 8:15. And DC Current with Congresswoman Julia Letlow at 8:35. And I got something else. Oh, yeah. Franz Borghardt's in town. He'll be coming up about 20 minutes from right now. And yes, we have a stack of topics to cover. Before we get to any of that, though, top stories and trending. Let's roll.
Number 5.
Can you run the EBR library system on $38 million a year? That was the number tossed out by Charlie Davis, CAO from the mayor's office at last night's public meeting on redirecting library funds. The meeting, held at Acacia Church, was hosted by Metro Council members Rowdy Goday and Dwight Hudson. And by the sound of things, this was the first of many meetings to come. More on that similar story in just a minute.
Number 4.
5 students in the capital area were among 24 finalists for Louisiana Student of the Year, the Department of Education announced yesterday. Zoe Jenkins from Parkview Elementary School, Kai Ava Drew Butler from Bruley Upper Elementary School. They were 5th grade finalists. Brielle Poche from Gonzales, and 8th grade finalists. Marie McClellan from Dutchtown, and Krisha Wandelin Louise Ryan Clark from Port Allen High School were named as finalists for 12th grade.
Number 3.
40-year-old Edwin Curry was arrested Tuesday for allegedly throwing a brick through a truck's windshield as it was traveling down Madison Avenue, and then shooting the driver multiple times with a rifle when they stopped the vehicle. The victim was taken to a hospital, treated for non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. Curry is facing multiple charges, including attempted second-degree murder.
Number 2.
On the steps of the state capitol yesterday, introduced president announced a plan to strengthen Louisiana's infrastructure and create thousands of jobs in honor of its 100th year of operating in the state. The Louisiana 100 plan outlines 6 goals that Entergy Louisiana will be focused on over the next decade to better serve Louisiana.
Number 1.
Mayor President Sid Edwards announced yesterday that, he's the first grown-up to hold the job in a while. No, Edwards, the way this story is being covered, y'all, Edwards threatened to lay off hundreds of workers Tuesday if East Baton Rouge Parish voters don't ultimately agree to shift dedicated library funding to a general account. That's one way to write the sentence. Another way to write the sentence is, we've been living well beyond our means for 2 decades now, and reality is about to come a-calling. Edwards is calling his effort, which he put his plan forward. It's called Revive EBR. He would use current library funds on public safety infrastructure and blight reduction, among other things. That is one part of the overall equation. The other part of the overall equation is we are way too bloated when it comes to a city parish government, but that's my editorial. What's trending there, John?
The House on Tuesday passed the Republican budget resolution to start the process to enact President Donald Trump's legislative agenda by a vote of 217 to 215.
Big win for Mike Johnson.
Yes.
Big win for the speaker. That's one Republican vote was in the no column, and that was Thomas Massey from Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what would make Thomas Massey happy. I don't know. Just eliminating the federal government would make him happy.
Probably, right? I mean, hey, someone let Bruce Willis and the boys know that a record-breaking asteroid with the potential to wipe out a city in 2032 is officially no longer a hazard, according to the latest NASA data.
What a ride for the last, 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
As everybody got to get all, scared.
Yeah.
Clickbait, baby.
We're about to send Ben Affleck up there.
Interstellar clickbait. Yeah. I mean, it was a 2.1%.
Our solution is to ram an object into the asteroid, not blow it up. Ram an object.
Yeah, they did.
Into
those nukes, yeah.
Yeah, and it just moves it over just a little bit, and it's kind of like playing pool.
Yeah. Yeah.
With an asteroid.
An asteroid.
They snookered the asteroid.
Yeah. Hey, Baton Rouge joined exclusive company Tuesday night as a new Monopoly game based around the capital city was unveiled.
Man, I wasn't there. I was supposed to be there. They did the unveiling at the Shaw Center.
Oh.
I got tied up at the St. George City Council meeting and did not make it over there in time. And I was going to go and I had another meeting at 6:30. Right. So I was going to try and squeeze that in the middle. I really want to know what all the properties were. I saw what a couple of them are.
Yeah.
Knock Knock Museum's on there, Old State Capitol, Tiger State. There's a lot of the usual suspects.
Right.
But I want to get a look at the whole board. And more important than that, I want to get a look at the community chest and chance cards. I mean, is it just the properties that are different, or do we have Baton Rouge community chest and chance cards?
Yeah, we're gonna have to look into that.
I know.
Is there a specific date for that release, or no? It's just
I've got the press release.
Okay.
We'll find out. But
okay.
I want in on that. I want to know what the chance cards are.
Yeah, this is good
like
stuff.
Franz, get out of jail free, right? Stanka rolls you on a tarpaulin, lose a turn.
I don't know if it would be get out of jail free. Let's slow down there. Let's slow down there, cowboy.
And look, you know how on the Monopoly board you can put houses and hotels?
Right.
But like somewhere in the middle, could you put like a Oyo motel?
You know, I've participated in like charity auctions before, like silent auctions and all that. And I've offered like, hey, felony representation.
Hey.
And like people don't get as excited about that as I get. Like you put that like as a auction.
No expiration date.
Yeah, you don't know when you're gonna need that.
No expiration date. You don't know when like you go all Senator Geary. I mean
that could be an expensive. Might want to hold on to that one. That's an expensive IOU there.
But you don't know if you're going to go all Senator Geary at some point. Who are you going to turn to? Franz or Michael Corleone?
I'm just saying.
Coming up on 612 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We are due up for our first break. I do need to tell you what the folks at Landmark Bank, I'm sure they don't want their name connected to this segment, but Landmark Bank, founded in 1897 as a community bank. And today in 2025, they are a community bank. Don't just have a bank, have a banker. If you are in the Baton Rouge surrounding area, if you are in Clinton, if you are in Brewley, if you are in Zachary, if you are in Denham Springs, if you are, I'll tell you what, I don't need to list all of them. Go to landmarkbankla.com, landmarkbankla.com. Under the About Us tab, you can find where the locations are. You click on that, and I would read up on them a little bit. Read up on their services, and what you're going to find is they are not lacking for any service that you would get from one of the big boy banks, one of the big national names, international names. But what you will get with Landmark Bank is a banker. Someone you could walk through the front door, shake their hand. Someone, when you go to apply for a loan for your home, when you go to apply for a loan for your business, they're there to guide you through the process and make sure that you are taken care of with what you need. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website. LandmarkBankLA.com. How long do I have? 2 minutes?
Which is going to come first? The sequel to Armageddon or the reboot to Armageddon?
Yeah, I would not be surprised if it was a star-studded cast of the new actors, reboot. Maybe it'll be like a Batman sequel, because Ben Affleck is now Batman. Maybe that'll be his next mission. He's taking it to space. Ooh, Troy makes a good point. I'm going to vote for the prequel to Armageddon. There we go.
Deep Impact. That was the other one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, whoa.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. Wow. That's quite a. It's quite a. You're either a Deep Impact person or an Armageddon person. There's no middle ground.
There's also a none of the above.
You didn't like either?
No,
You bet. Did you like the core?
I don't even know what that one is.
That's the one where they drilled to the Earth's core because the core stopped spinning.
Asteroid movies, by and large, are terrible.
But the soundtracks, you know. Think of Aerosmith.
Don't want to miss a thing.
Exactly, yeah.
Seven 616 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. It is sports time. We're going to go ahead and start off by looking forward as opposed to looking back. Baseball's on the way, y'all. More baseball, I should say, is on the way. The second-ranked LSU Tigers are going to be in Texas for their next 4 games. Tonight, they're taking on Arlington against tonight's game is in Arlington against 19th ranked Dallas Baptist. They're going to be at Globe Life Field. That is the home of the Texas Rangers. Coach Jay Johnson, looking forward to this experience.
I think it's going to be great in terms of like continuing to what we call tighten the circle. We're going to play great opponents, multiple time super regional team, perennial power. They're off to a great start again with DBU. That's kind of the focus. Get to play in a big league ballpark.
I'm sorry, I just can't hear the phrase DBU. I know they're Dallas Baptist University. They're the actual DBU. But look at the cornerbacks and safeties in the NFL. We're DBU. LSU's most experienced pitcher, one of their top relievers, not available this weekend. There's been some question about Gavin Guidry, why we haven't seen him yet. Well, those questions are being answered.
Non-arm related deal that just kind of crept up. He was prepared to pitch on last Wednesday and then actually woke up on Thursday not feeling great. So we think we really pinpointed what it was and anticipate him being ready next week sometime.
Starting shortstop Stephen Milam has been, he's gotten hot over the last weekend. He had 4 hits in the first 6 games and then just blew up last week with 5 hits in the last 2 games. Monday night, he drove in a career high 5 runs, which included a 3-run homer. Johnson knew it was only a matter of time before Milam would get going.
He hasn't struggled a whole lot here, to be honest with you. I think the swing got real tight, real fast, and he's a baseball dude, man. It's his life. It's why we mesh very, very well. And not a whole lot of else stuff going on for him, and almost to the point sometimes where you like him to like, hey man, like you don't have to be in the cages for 4 hours before practice, but you're not going to stay down very long because that's his attitude, and it's what I love about him.
First pitch, 7 p.m. tonight. You'll hear that game on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. If you're looking ahead to what they do after tonight's game, since they're in Texas for 4 games, they're going to go over to Frisco for the Frisco College Baseball Classic. LSU will take on Kansas State, 2 p.m. Friday, Nebraska, 4 p.m. Saturday, and then Sam Houston, 4 p.m. Sunday. They'll come home and play North Dakota State on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Meanwhile, it's been just one piece of the puzzle missing all season long for the LSU basketball Tigers. They moved to 14-14 overall in the season. Fall 65-59, hosting number 5 in the country, Tennessee, last night. The Vols came in. LSU played them tooth and nail. 65-59. Wasn't a whole lot of scoring on the Tigers' end, but to hold the Vols, who I believe average 82 a game, down to 65. Every single game, there's one thing that just shows they're just one piece off. Victorious Miller led the way last night with 17. Cam Carter had 12. Here's the Fox Business Report. This thing's comfortable.
Breathes well.
It breathes.
Breathe.
It breathes. I like it.
Like
Christy hates it.
like a NASCAR. Cortana Kiwanis, Dudley DeBosier.
Full NASCAR in the back, man.
Let me see the front of this thing.
That's full
Oh
NASCAR.
yeah. I think Prince put it best when he said, "Tried to run from my destruction. You know, I didn't even care." I don't really know what I was going with that, but
I was gonna say, I thought you had something else.
no.
I'm sure the next asteroid movie will have Matt Damon on the rock in need of rescue. Of course. And who better to go rescue him, Byron, than Ben Affleck? Who better? Huh?
I think Ben Affleck is now in the Bruce Willis role.
Yeah.
Who should be the next to play James Bond?
It's 2025. It's probably gonna be like a woman.
I didn't even think about that part.
I mean, that's gonna happen at some point, right?
Yeah. The next James Bond will be Natalie Portman.
Yeah. But will be called James Bond.
Good morning, Christy.
I leave for a few weeks. You guys get a new logo. I mean,
Mhm.
Kind of has like a Superdome feel to it.
Right. I thought yesterday was. Are we already back in? It's 6:23 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Man, we were running early. All right, let's head back to the Shawbills Tire Traffic Center. We got some volume on I-12 westbound coming in from Livingston Parish. That's your normal volume. Nothing to make you change your plans this morning as of yet. We're it's intermittent. Starts right before range. Continues all the way up through the 10-12 merge. I-10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish looks great. I-10 eastbound coming in from West Baton Rouge Parish looks great. Hopping over to that west side real quick. We had some minor delays on Highway 1 right near, where is that? It was Highway 1 right near, you know what? The delays are going. I'm not even going to see them. So they're good to go. What we were looking at on 1 is now good. Both bridges are looking great, and 110 is looking great as well. Over on your surface streets, be on the lookout for an accident being worked by the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office. That is Highland Road at Highland Farm Way, and that's the only accident to report on those surface streets. That's your look at traffic from the Shawbills Tire Traffic Center. $624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. All right. He's in the house. We got Franz in. Let's do a little legally served. Buongiorno, Franz. How are you?
Ciao.
How's
where am I?
How's Italy?
Italy was amazing. One of the coolest things. Our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to the Pope, who's not doing well. I got to see the Pope. I got to go to a papal audience the Wednesday before he got sick.
I was gonna say, did you get him sick?
He was looking pretty rough when we saw
Yeah.
him. But yeah, Italy was great. Like, where to next? I mean, I've been back to the States for like a week-ish now. I mean, that's a long time for me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean,
France.
Okay.
Paris.
All right.
Good to be back.
Give it a couple weeks.
Did I
before you
miss
go, if you don't mind.
anything? Did I miss anything? I leave.
Yeah. Hey, you know a guy named Ken Levy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed something.
Yeah.
You missed a little
yeah.
bit. Do you want to start there?
Yeah. I'm kind of torn on this one.
Really?
I'll tell you what. Now,
your buddy Richard was all in for Ken.
So let me preface what's about to go down on this show for this segment with, I do not speak. Franz Borghardt is an adjunct professor at LSU Law School, but does not speak for LSU Law School or LSU.
Right.
I'm prefacing what is about to
When you
come
say
out.
adjunct professor, just for like layman's terms, it's
I
like a
teach-
contract employee.
I am a employee that teaches one class.
Right.
Not a full-time employee.
Right. That's what I'm
I
saying.
teach one class. I'm a hired gun.
Right.
And I'm also going to preface what I'm about to say with, it's not a matter of whether or not I said or didn't say something inappropriate in class at some point. I'm absolutely sure I probably said something inappropriate in class over the 3 semesters I've taught. I had a swear jar in my class, and we would donate the money to charity.
Really?
Swear jar for charity. So that
Tell you
all
what,
being
I
said,
tell you what, if you need a good charity for it to go to,
good
we're going
segue.
to strike out cancer this weekend.
If I get a good shirt like that,
I will see if I can try and score you one.
I will do, and I'll
this
throw
is for
money.
the bowlers.
I will throw money at things.
Yep.
So point is,
I'll sell you this one.
Yeah. Point is,
I'll wash it first.
Point is, I come
If
back.
you want.
I come back, and all of a sudden, professors are being told, "Hey, you can't say this or that in the classroom."
Yeah.
And by the way, that certain political views in the classroom are being stifled.
Hang on. Stop right there.
Right.
Certain political views are all political.
Conservative. The governor is saying conservative views are being stifled.
Yes.
So, but also saying that political views in the classroom is inappropriate, period.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. That's the landscape,
There's
right?
no reason to have them. It does not deal with the law.
I think in a mathematics trig class, I would 100% agree with you. I think in a law class, I think it completely depends on what class is it. If it's a class on successions, it has nothing to do with politics.
Mhm.
If it's a class on criminal justice, well, politics may be a part of the conversation. Justice reform might be a part of the conversation. Again, however, the question is, one, do professors enjoy constitutional rights to free speech? That's question number one. Number two is, what caliber of student are we perpetuating? Are we perpetuating law students that are going to be advocates and are quick on their feet and can stand up for their clients and themselves?
No.
Are we perpetuating daffodils and dandelions?
Oh, there's a third category here you're missing out on, because the Socratic level of saying F that guy, what you're doing is you're perpetuating the lawyer from Idiocracy.
I like money.
Mm-hmm.
I like money.
If your best form of an argument is
Well,
F
no.
that guy, I want a little bit more out of
But
the
that
professor.
needs to, but here's the thing. If your best argument is F that guy, and again, now we're jumping from Levy to
No, that's Levy.
I thought the
No,
other
no,
one.
no.
Okay,
Yeah.
lay the framework.
Okay, so in talking about the other guy,
Right.
Levy said F Trump, F Landry, F that guy. That's where we're at.
I was once asked in a class, how did I feel about the election right after the election?
Mhm.
And my position, you tell me how you read this.
Mhm.
I said, and I quote, Trump's good for business. And they all looked at me and I said, I'm a criminal defense attorney. A conservative president, a conservative governor makes laws that are generally what? Harsher or more liberal?
Tougher,
Tougher
for sure.
on criminals.
Yeah.
Which means Franzi does what? He charges more money.
Pause right there. We got to hit news, traffic, weather. We'll continue with Legally Served when we come back.
We got a second on the air, right? We're still on Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't know that I disagree. I don't know that politics should have a place in the classroom. I don't.
Oh, but free speech. We need to be able to say whatever the F we want, whenever the F we want, regardless of. And by the way, law school covers everything, every topic under the sun.
Well, so here.
Stop.
So here's the thing.
Lawyers protect lawyers. That's the thing. And you're trained at arguing.
I don't protect all lawyers. Again, which ones are good for business?
We're going to pick up on that part when you come back, though.
I mean, am I wrong, though?
No, you're not wrong.
Right.
You're not wrong.
But is what I said offensive? Is it inappropriate? And if I'm asked my opinion by one of the students, is my response more appropriately, this is a law school class and my political views are not relevant to this topic of conversation. And if you want my political views, you can see me after class.
Yeah.
Troy writes, or excuse me, Galen writes, do I enjoy the constitutional right of free speech if I create a hostile work environment? There's a big no. I would have no problem with vigorous debate in any classroom, but when a prof comes out significantly on one side, others won't debate. Well, sometimes in law, in fairness, sometimes a law professor will ask a question, and no matter what your answer is, will come off on the other side, which is the Socratic method. Well, asking questions upon questions upon questions to challenge you from both sides. And look, you should be able to argue both sides if you're a lawyer.
Argue both sides of F that guy?
I don't know what to say about that. But again, I drop profanity in classrooms, so I can't say. I cast no stones. It's not.
I'm sorry. Do you curse in the courtroom?
When appropriate.
Really?
Sometimes a good F word. Let's be honest. Hold on. A good F word. No, hold on. A good F word sometimes encapsulates to a jury. Now, you can't be a petulant child about it. It has to be the special occasion. You asked me a question for courtroom dramatics and theatrics. Is it professional? Probably not.
But does it
I
make a
am
point?
shocked.
Yeah.
Are
that's
you
allowed.
are you
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I didn't say wait, that's a different question. You just asked, do I do it? You didn't ask, is that allowed? That's a totally different thing.
I object, motherfucker.
So I can say this on Facebook. There's something about looking at someone and saying, that's some bullshit.
Okay.
Like there's
My
no
cousin
other,
Vinny did it.
there's
My cousin
no
Vinny did
other phrase in the English language that encapsulates bullshit. If you're listening or watching out there, if you can come up with a phrase that encapsulates the power of that phrase, when you just look at someone and say, that's bullshit.
No, poppycock does not bring
Poppycock.
Poppycock does not bring
Boulder test.
It does not bring the noise. Everything that guy just said is bullshit. Thank you. Look, I've got, I'm not seeing you drop that in front of Judge Chamberlain Holla. God, this guy hates attorneys. We're going to talk about that part, Galen. I had that bullet in the chamber.
Are timeshares still a thing?
I can't believe they are. How could you have a timeshare in the age of the Airbnb? It's like, can I rent this place for a week? Yes. Okay, but really what I'd like to do is rent it for 52 weeks and only get it for one. Can we work that out instead?
By the way, I'm not exactly probably the role model attorney that you should base like your standards.
We gotta do some filming for a TV commercial after the show this morning, and Kate told me to wear a coat and like a dress shirt and a coat. So I have it. I have all of it. I just want him to lose his shit when he sees me in this.
I need to leave 6:50ish.
Fine.
Sorry.
So we're just gonna go to 6:50.
Yeah, Hillary, that's the point I'm going to bring up. Is why is there a difference? There's the privileged, and then there's not.
Well, there's the state law, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there a state law? I mean, that's right. I mean, there's a state law.
I don't know if it's a law though. How's your forecast looking in the midweek? Here's Emma Kate Cowan. Terrible tease. .638 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We got 12 more minutes with attorney Franz Borghardt, who's gonna boogie for Court TV. You get Court TV this morning?
I mean, just national TV.
What did they do while you were out of the country? They just Court TV just
while I'm off on spiritual journeys.
Yeah.
It's like the world just keeps spinning.
Yeah.
Like people keep getting arrested. I get hired. I got hired from Europe on a case or two. Yeah, it's great.
Anything we can talk about?
No, let's.
All
I'm going to say something that's going to be almost unbelievable.
What?
The reason I struggle about this whole professor classroom thing is sometimes it's not about me.
Ooh, who's it about then?
Shouldn't it be about the students?
It 100% should be about the students.
I mean, I'm hired because of my knowledge, my skills, my personality, my accomplishments, my qualifications hire me. But ultimately, if it's a customer service environment, it's about the students. And ultimately, while I don't want future lawyers to be daffodils and dandelions, I'm kind of like, okay, I mean, like,
I'm sorry. We got to stop right there because you keep going down. You keep using that phrase like somehow not saying F Donald Trump creates a snowflake.
Part of this issue is the assertion that behavior by professors are harassing and intimidating students. And to that, I say, if you've not gone to law school is a very emotionally volatile situation where professors push at law students because in part they're trying to thin the weeds, right? Or the herd. Yeah, candidly.
Little hazing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's by the way,
endorsement of hazing just happened.
Well, and by the way, it's kind of like, what do you call residents, doctors? Do you want doctors to be able to work under pressure and stress, or do you want
1000%.
them to get a hug and a warm? They want to feel warm and squishy inside.
It's
I'm
like
sorry.
the memo went out that said everybody follow the same tactic because you're saying the exact same
But
thing.
I'm also saying, hold on, I struggle with this one. Why? Because it really should be about the students. Students should be comfortable in the classroom.
Nothing
And
about
if I do something that makes a student uncomfortable in the classroom, I want to be aware of it.
Well, hang on. I thought you just said you wanted the student to be uncomfortable.
No. This is why I struggle. Because to some degree, I should be able to put, in a law school environment, I do believe you should be able to push a student on an argument issue.
Uh-huh.
If they say, hey, I like chocolate candy, I want to know, well, why do you like chocolate candy? Why is chocolate candy better than vanilla candy? This is not a racial thing, by the way, just in case I get accused of doing something. Chocolate and vanilla has nothing to do. It's candy, not anything else.
Right.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Point is, should he have said F Trump in a classroom? No. Should he get fired or removed from his classroom? That might be perhaps a bit extreme. Now, the difference is Levy is a tenured professor.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a tenured professor. I'm an adjunct. LSU can simply say, hey, thank you for serving, Franz. We don't need you anymore. And that's it. That's the end of it.
There's a broader question that needs to be opened up from this, though.
Okay.
When it comes to free speech and state employees.
Okay.
We have classified and non-classified state employees.
Okay.
And yes, the way it's written in the law is that no member of a civil service commission and no officer or employee in the classified service shall participate or engage in political activity, be a candidate for nomination or election to public office, except to seek election as the classified state employee serving on a state service commission, or be a member of any national, state, or local committee, blah, 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 blah. It goes on. No person shall solicit contributions for political purposes from any classified employee or official or use of attempt to use his position in the state or city service to punish or coerce the political action of a classified employee. Basically, classified employees, they can't speak up on behalf of candidates. They can't put yard signs in their yards at home.
He's not a candidate.
When it can, for neither are the classified employees. I'm saying,
time out.
When
President Trump had just gotten elected. He's not a candidate anymore. I mean, I hate to be the lawyer in the room. Does that law apply? If I don't like Governor Landry, and by the way, I love Governor Landry. He's my favorite governor. And there's a rule that says, hey, I can't talk about a candidate, and he just got elected governor, and I say, whatever I say about him, am I breaking the law? He's no longer a candidate.
if you're a classified employee and you're talking about politics,
Okay,
you're in the wrong. You're automatically in the wrong.
I do not disagree with you that, again, unless it's, would it be different for you if it was a poli-sci class?
See,
And
it would be.
Right.
Yep.
Right. We agree that there may be a scenario where someone could talk about politics or a candidate and not run afoul of this law.
But even in poli-sci, though,
I'm asking questions.
right. Even in poli-sci, though, you shouldn't be taking a Republican or a Democrat side. You should be walking down the path of
There are
tactic
times
and maneuver in
there are
history.
times. So here's the thing. That's the other piece. Is he really taking a side? Now, I think in this one, yes, yeah, he is.
F that guy is not ambivalent.
Well, is my statement Trump is good for business?
Mhm.
Is that taking a side?
No.
Is that endorsing?
No,
or,
I'm glad you went back to this.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to this.
Yeah.
Trump is good for business.
he is.
Meaning that by and large, and we follow that up, Landry is good for business.
The full quote was Governor Landry and President Trump as a criminal defense attorney.
Mhm.
I can say he's good for business.
Okay. Because Jeff Landry was the attorney general before this.
Correct.
And Jeff Landry, we've seen, has been tough on crime. He called for a special session on crime.
Yeah.
We're going to get tougher on crime.
Undid a whole bunch of justice
And
reform.
If you're going to get tough on crime, you're going to need more criminal defense attorneys.
Correct. More
we have-
arrests.
Right.
Harsher
Wait.
penalties.
So what you said is in no way, shape, or form opinion.
Right.
It's empirical fact.
But could someone be offended by me saying that?
He's offended by a ham sandwich.
We again, daffodils, dandelions.
That
Now, Galen writes, it wouldn't be better if it was a poli-sci class. He should be teaching and not preaching. Do your job. Great Patriot slogan. And keep your political opinions to yourself. This is, again, the customer service. The slogan for the Patriots under Belichick was do your job.
Yeah. Sean Payton adopted it too.
Yeah.
When the season he was suspended,
Yeah.
they had a gigantic Sean Payton picture and it said, "Do your job" inside the practice facility.
Yeah.
So, I could see that. That was fun.
So here's the thing. The students should come 1st.
Mhm.
Are the students coming first if you're depriving them an educational opportunity to counter? And by the way, full disclosure, can a law professor punish a student for not sharing their political views? Well, no, they're not supposed to.
Not supposed to.
And by the way, exams are anonymous. I don't know whose grades I don't know who's writing the exams.
Mhm.
True story. For those who are watching and listening, everything I grade, if I grade 40 exams, they're all numbers. I don't know who's writing and who's doing what.
You say the students should come first.
They should. Arguably, yeah.
What needs to be remembered here is this: sometimes you have to step aside from the law because perception is reality, and we've seen that play out in elections. And law gets written after elections. So unless you want the law to change to really put the lockdown on things, understand that yes, this should be about the students and not about the ego.
Well, the flip side is the counter argument, if I may argue both sides. The counter argument is by restricting academic freedom to the professor to teach, depriving the students of an opportunity to learn. That is the question.
What I would like to hear the argument that says if you remove the phrase F. Landry from a law school class,
it's in
how are they being deprived of a lesson here?
So at its core, the comment was made in relation to suspending another professor for speech.
Yeah.
So the opportunity is for a student to say, well, Professor Levy, with all due respect, and then make the counter argument. Okay. Because as you astutely pointed out, F. Landry isn't a very intellectually prowess based argument.
Right.
We all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
As good as it may as good as it may feel to say F that guy, it doesn't really intellectually move the football at all.
Right.
Is the opportunity being lost encouraging students to counter and to stand up to make arguments opposing that view?
See, that's the part I don't know about what went down in the classroom.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And
the whole thing was recorded.
Yes, it was.
We can all watch or listen to it in real time.
We got to fast forward on this one because you only got like a minute and a half left or 2 minutes left. The LSU Board of Supervisors approved a revised free speech and expression policy last Friday that adds limitations on what professors can say in class. At the meeting, officials said the policy needed to change to comply with a state law, which Governor Jeff Landry had followed with an executive order asking for a policy change. Landry also had complained in a social media post that conservative voices were being silenced on campuses. All right, have we seen evidence of the silencing?
I don't know that we have, but here's the bigger picture, and I hate to say this in 2 minutes left. Be careful what you fish for. If you want no politics in the classroom, you certainly are opening yourself up for the counter argument of, well, why in the heck do you want 10 commandments in the classroom? If politics don't belong in the classroom, why do 10 commandments belong in the classroom then?
What political party is the 10 commandments associated with?
Well, it's now been made law by a political group.
The legislature.
A party.
The legislature.
I'm just saying what belongs in the classroom could be a slippery slope.
No, I see where you're going here.
Yeah.
What you're saying is Democrats, you have no place believing in God.
I thought Democrats didn't believe in God. Oh, wait.
That
was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke.
No. Yeah. That's why we can't do this with a minute to go.
I love my Democrat friends. I love them. Everybody's like, I thought you were a Democrat, Franz. That's how I ended right there.
6 years we've been doing this. I still don't know if you are or not.
Right. I like to leave you guessing. I like to leave my dates unsure.
You got to get to Court TV. Are you going to be in the country next week?
I will be in the country next week. And look, guys, I will leave you with this. As a professor at the law school, and I'm not tenured, but I will say this. Academia is becoming a very strange place for the students and the professors.
Yeah.
And we're going to only see more of this.
And we can unpack that next week as to why it's becoming that way. 650, here's your money now. Love you, Franz. See, I wish he would tell me ahead of time that he's got to go. I could time the segment out better.
Yeah.
Because he brought up that 10 Commandments thing at the end.
Yeah.
Under Louisiana law, this is the policy that was put out. Under Louisiana law, a professor or instructor is prohibited from imposing the professor or instructor's political views on students. So if you don't want the political views to be imposed on students, why would you want to limit the 10 Commandments? We could. You're telling me we can impose politics, but we can't introduce religion.
Yeah, that's a good point. I love how Franz came in the chat at 6:50 and said, "Love Democrats." He just had to leave with that. Just like the private workplace, avoid politics, religion, and pay. Well, I mean, that's what Matt says. I mean, right? But in that case, in a classroom like that, I mean, I don't know.
My true gut on this is that the students involved may have been struggling in the class and they were looking for an out. If you didn't study for the exam, you phone in a bomb threat, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. If and I was guessing. All right, we're gonna have to do something here. Damn it! What's LRN got for us? Matt says then he should have started off with for conversation's sake. The problem is I don't know what he said before or after. I have the benefit of what the news reported. I have not read the transcript. I hope people don't think they can now do what the professor did at work and be okay. Very different scenario for a private employer. Oh. Yeah. 13, 14, and 15, please. Oh, wait, we have that later on, don't we? No, 13, 14, and 15, please. 6:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Thanks again to attorney Franz Borghardt for a fantastic, lively, legally served. That conversation is not going away anytime soon because it's just so like split right down the middle. I mean, on the free speech end, on the free speech end, you have to ask why are some people afforded free speech when others aren't. On the perception versus reality end, everyone who's gone to college knows that when the professor starts talking, you got to go along to get along. Just shut up because he's going to say what he wants to say, and you don't want to step out of line. I've been there. You've been there. It's just the way it is. On the flip side, who is the argument serving? That's a darn good question, isn't it? And you're going to find a split here as well when it comes to whether or not you're speaking to a lawyer or not. God bless. There's a thousand different types of lawyers out there and millions upon millions of lawyers out there. And they keep a pretty tight-knit fraternity, and they're going to have each other's back. So I would not expect a lawyer to speak ill of another lawyer. All right, we got a lot of ground to cover before. We got one more news story to get to before we get to news at the top of the hour. Got to remind you about the folks over at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website. FlyBTR.com. So convenient. Right in our backyard, y'all. 110 North, hop off at the airport exit. Take veterans right through the red light at Harding. And you're right there. It's so convenient once you get inside. I mean, it's built for our size. If you're planning the family vacation for this summer, hit up flybtr.com. If you've got business travel, hit up flybtr.com. If your business travel takes you to our nation's capital, hit up flybtr2dc.com. flybtr2dc.com. Flight leaves daily. It's leaving in about 15 minutes from right now. Gets back in the evening. You can handle your business in our nation's capital same day, flying right into Reagan National. If you were wondering, how do I fly into Washington and get things done in the same day? The airport's 2.5 hours from the middle of the city. No, Reagan, not Dulles. FlyBTR2DC.com. Congressman Clay Higgins announced that Iraq is purchasing an additional 88,000 metric tons of U.S. long-grain milled rice. The purchase is being made under the 2024 to 2025 Memorandum of Understanding, bringing the total to 220,000 metric tons, exceeding the original 200,000 metric ton agreement. U.S. Rice COO Sarah Moran says Iraq has been a great import market for the U.S. rice industry.
It's typically a top 10 market. And if you look just at U.S. long grain milled rice, it's usually the second largest export market.
Higgins emphasized his commitment to expanding global markets for Louisiana farmers, highlighting the impact of Iraq's rice purchases on South Louisiana's economy. Earlier this month, he met with the Iraqi ambassador to discuss strengthening trade relations. Moran says this agreement is a win-win for Louisiana farmers.
So we worked with them and came to an agreement that they would purchase 200,000 tons of U.S. rice on an annual basis. And in return, we would provide trainings as necessary and kind of just have a good level of communication with one another.
And while you're communicating, go ahead and make the ask, Clay Higgins. Make the ask and get the sale.
With this purchase of 88,000, that puts us over the amount for this 2024-2025 MOU year.
Now, that's rice going over to Iraq. What about the rest of the world? We're going to talk with Congresswoman Julia Letlow at 8:35. One of our topics of conversation is going to be a tariff on foreign rice. Why would anybody want foreign rice? We do the best right here. All right, it's 7 o'clock. Here comes news. He texted. Franz texted. Democrats don't believe in God. FML. Poor guy has no control over his mouth. .705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. John LaBeouf produced it. Have we warmed up any yet? No, like I'm legitimately asking. No, we've actually dropped down 43 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. You'd never know it in the posh Talk 107.3 FM studios. I mean, heck, I'm in a short sleeve shirt. So are you, John.
I am. Yeah.
That's how you like my shirt.
I do. I like that. It's very,
It's a very hip bowling
what's the
shirt.
right word? Flamboyant.
Flamboyant,
not-
good word. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's bright.
Yeah. Well, coming up Friday
Like
evening,
it.
I'll be helping to strike out cancer in the 2025 Mayor's Celebrity Bowling Challenge.
Yeah.
Proceeds benefit cancer services and Mary Bird Perkins. This is going to be at the River Center. I get to be one of the first ones to throw a ball down them lanes
How you
at
feel
the
about
River
that?
Center. I love this.
It's amazing.
Love it. I showed my wife the shirt.
Yeah.
She's like, "That's disgusting."
Oh.
It's kind of NASCAR. It's very pro bowling.
Right. Oh,
It's
for
very
sure.
pro bowling. But like,
But don't you feel official?
I feel.
I mean, like
awesome.
you're wearing the shirt, and it's like
So like, aside from the fact that it looks like, well, I mean, the shirt, the look of the shirt, it's
Yeah.
got all the logos on it. Like I'm a walking NASCAR,
yeah,
but it's also got like splashed pink paint all over it.
it makes it pop.
Yeah.
It brings it out.
Yeah, for what it is, like for
for
a
sure.
bowler shirt. Last time I did this was 2012.
Yeah.
And we had the old school, the button down, the
Yeah.
button down, the old school bowler shirts.
Yes.
I like that. I'm loving this.
Yeah.
I'm loving this with the comfortable drop.
Like
fit
it
and all.
looks
Yeah.
official. Like
Yeah.
for those who may not
So
who aren't watching on Facebook.
as the bowlers come to town, well, even if you are, you're only seeing like the chest
right.
up.
But
So, yeah.
it's legit.
But as the bowlers are coming to town, this is a great opportunity to raise some funds, raise some awareness, and continue in helping the battle against cancer in the capital area. So it'll be Friday, February 28th at the Raising Cane's River Center. I want to say it's all booked up now. I mean, we're just 2 days out, so it's open to the first 52 teams. Check out the Facebook page, the Strikeout Cancer Mayor's Celebrity Bowling Challenge Facebook page. If you want to learn more. I don't know if there's still room to get any more teams out there. 52 lanes in that River Center, and it's gorgeous. By the way, went by there last either Thursday or Friday. Took a little video. The video's up on Talk 107.3's Facebook page, just of the lanes themselves, and gave kind of the explanation of what we're going to expect over the next 5 months, as close to 60,000 bowlers are going to come to town. And if any of them, brings family or friends with them, think about it. If half of the bowlers bring a wife or a husband, if it's on the women's side,
Yeah.
if half of the bowlers bring a spouse, you're talking about rolling 90,000 people through hotel rooms in Baton Rouge over the course of 5 months. You're talking about rolling 90,000 people through restaurants like P.F. Chang's or TJ Ribs or Rocco's, and they don't just come to town for a night. They're in town for 3 to 4 days. And if you're already taking 3 to 4 days to go bowl, why not take 2 more to get to know the city a little bit? Make it your full vacation. Go see Homa's house and nod away, Make a day run down to New Orleans while your home base is here. I'd say you go stay in New Orleans, but my gosh, you're going to pay 4 times as much for a hotel room. This is big. And at the same time, it doesn't stop any other business. It's
Right.
not like you've got everybody jams up the hotels all at once. It's just a steady stream of 90,000 people over 5 months. I love it. So, and it all starts with the Mayor's Celebrity Bowling Challenge coming up on Friday evening. I believe, I want to say it starts at 6:30 or 7, something like that. Anyway, check out their Facebook page for more. Top stories and trending. Let's go.
Number 5.
Can you run the library system on $38 million a year? That was a number tossed out by Charlie Davis, CEO of the mayor's office, at last night's public meeting on redirecting library funds. The meeting was held at Acacia Church. It was hosted by Metro Council members Rowdy Goday and Dwight Hudson. And by the sound of things, this meeting was not the last of meetings that are going to be on this topic. We'll have more on this topic coming up a little bit later in Top Stories.
Number 4.
5 students from the capital area were among 24 finalists for Louisiana Student of the Year. Zoe Jenkins from Parkview Elementary School, Kai Ava Drew Butler from Bruley Elementary School were named as 5th grade finalists. Brielle Poche from Gonzales Middle was named in the 8th grade. Marley McClellan from Dutchtown and Kershondalyn Louise Ryan Clark from Port Allen were named as finalists in the 12th grade.
Number 3.
40-year-old Edwin Curry was arrested Tuesday for allegedly throwing a brick through a truck's windshield as it was traveling down Madison Avenue and then shooting the driver multiple times with a rifle when the driver came to a stop. The victim was taken to a hospital, treated for non-life-threatening gunshot wounds, but is in serious condition. Curry is facing multiple charges, including attempted second-degree murder.
Number 2.
On the steps of the state capitol yesterday, Entergy's president announced a plan to strengthen Louisiana's infrastructure and create thousands of jobs in honor of their 100th year of operating in the state. The Louisiana 100 plan outlines 6 goals that Entergy Louisiana will be focused on over the next decade to better serve Louisiana.
Number 1.
East Baton Rouge Mayor President Sid Edwards held a press conference yesterday and laid down the harsh reality that Baton Rouge is facing. If the library funds don't move, and if Baton Rouge can't find better ways to access money that is in the government's hands but not available to or is dedicated, if Baton Rouge cannot get money moving in the right direction, 600 to 700 jobs could be lost, or up to 14.6% of all city parish employees. Some government services could be reduced, and what we're looking at right here is that there's a plan to rededicate some of these dollars, and it's probably the first in many steps to help right things that have been going wrong for decades now. What's trending there, John?
Well, the House on Tuesday passed the Republican budget resolution to start the process to enact President Donald Trump's legislative agenda by a vote of 217 to 215.
Big win. Big win for Mike Johnson.
Indeed.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Now, that being said, this is just on the House side. It's just the one step. He only lost one Republican vote, and that was Thomas Massey of Kentucky, who I think would vote no. If you told Thomas Massey, like, this is everything you've ever asked for, and we're going to make you a milkshake on top of it, he would still vote no. If you told Thomas Massey, we're going to reduce the size of federal government down to just you, he would still vote no.
Oh,
yeah.
There's no satisfaction.
We're going to remove checks and balances. We're going to eliminate every position out there, and it's just going to be Thomas Massey. He would still vote no.
Just wouldn't be good enough at all.
No.
Hey, a record-breaking asteroid with the potential to wipe out a city in 2032 is officially no longer a hazard, according to the latest NASA data.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Don't have to worry
We all
about
got
that.
our panties in a wad for no reason.
That's it.
I got scared. I'll admit it. I got scared.
They freaked us out, and then it was like,
when things jumped up from 2.1% to 2.6%, I was like, ew.
Yeah.
Ew, maybe we should pay attention.
If this
And then it jumped from
up,
2.6 to 3.1, and then back down to 1.5. And when it dropped back down to 1.5, I was like, something ain't right.
yeah.
Something ain't right. But yeah. Look,
no longer a threat.
asteroids belong in Atari games.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Speaking of games, Baton Rouge joined exclusive company Tuesday night as a new Monopoly game based around the capital city was unveiled.
So ticked.
Yeah.
So
You're ticked?
I wanted to go. I didn't get to go to the big
yeah.
reveal last night. I
Yeah,
haven't physically seen the Monopoly board. I don't know all the properties that are on it. I mean, we know a few of them. WBRZ reported on it. We know a few of them. What did they have here? Which ones did they list? Board squares highlight historic buildings and restaurants that make the city of Baton Rouge unique. Some local favorites include Community Coffee, Raising Cane's, and the Knock Knock Children's Museum. All right, that's 3. I want the rest of them. And oh, by the way, the Monopoly board starts with the really, really cheap properties and moves their way around to the really, really expensive properties.
Oh, yeah?
So if you want to highlight the best of Baton Rouge, you got to realize you're prioritizing. Mediterranean and Baltic suck, right? We all know Mediterranean and Baltic are not the properties you want. Boardwalk and Park Place are. So how do you name 2 Baton Rouge properties as the suck properties of Monopoly? Who gets that nod? And I really want to read the community chest and chance cards. I really want, Franz Borghardt, get out of jail free.
As he said, I don't know about free, but
No, it wouldn't be free. With free in quotes. Just get out of jail.
right.
Just get
Franz,
out. Get out of jail.
Be cool with that little boat card. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, if you're putting houses and hotels on Baton Rouge property, if you're putting hotels on Baton Rouge properties, is there a difference between like a hotel and like something along the side of I-12 where you're going to get some good fentanyl?
Oh my goodness.
Should I just leave that there and
maybe
let Paula Davis walk into that hornet's nest?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do that. State Representative Paula Davis is up next.
Ooh. Yikes.
717 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. All right. We got a little over a month to go before the legislative session is gavelled in. Let's get an early preview here. Joining us now, State Representative Paula Davis. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Brian. I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Hey, this is my question. This made me so happy this morning to hear you and Franz go back and forth.
Yes.
I suggest y'all do that every day during the legislative session to put us in really fun, good moods.
I mean, you know what?
Always entertaining.
I
the
don't
Brian
know
and
that I
Franz
could.
show.
I don't know that I have the wherewithal to decompress after that. I mean, I know who to call if I need to do, but no, it's that would be a lot. Once a week, I think is all I can handle. All right. Legislative
Good
session
to hear
coming
y'all
up.
both this morning, though.
Thank you. So yeah,
legislative
it was
session
a
coming up.
lively discussion to say the least. I
It
think the
was.
flip side of that is maybe if we get him gone for a month at a time, he comes back strong for a segment. I don't know.
Whew, yeah.
Yeah. Where's the
love
middle
it.
ground?
We love you guys. So the legislative session starts April 14th, I believe.
Okay, I want to ask you as a veteran state legislator in a fiscal session, how much do other priorities fall off the map?
They don't really fall off the map because, in some ways, I feel like our general priorities become even heightened because during the fiscal legislative session, which is odd number years this year,
Right.
Besides having fiscal only issues, each legislator can have up to 5 general bills. So for me, and I know for a lot of my colleagues, we only take bills that we are really passionate about during those fiscal years. So for most of us, by the time you end session the year prior, so in the end of 2024, my 5 bills are already taken because I know I want to save up my bills to do things that I'm really passionate about. For example, my IVF legislation.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to be something that's on the table this year, especially with Donald Trump coming out with his recent executive order regarding IVF. So that's, first and foremost on my mind for my general bills. So I would say that it's probably heightened during this time because we are so limited in what we can file.
Does that also mean that there's a better focus?
Brian, is there ever a focus?
No.
I'm joking. No, I mean, you're still very focused on, of course, first and foremost, the fiscal impacts that the tax bills and budget bills are going to have on our state. Those always take priority. But again, like I said, a lot of, for me and my colleagues, we file bills, and those 5 that are very important to us and very important to our constituency and very important to people that we've, become, have good relationships with over the past. I've been in here for 10 years. So I've been working on, for example, IVF for the past 5 years or so. And, you get to a point where you really want your bills to pass because they're important to you and to your constituency. So the focus is never off of the tax and budget reform bills or the bills that are filed. But for general bills, yeah, they do take priority as well. So it really, as a legislator, it doesn't feel any different to me whether we're in a general session or a fiscal session, because in a fiscal session, I'm bringing the bills that are really most important to me.
Well, I ask about the focus because insurance is going to be a big topic again. And insurance was supposed to be a big
100%.
topic last time around, and y'all made some progress on property insurance, but my car insurance rates have not seen any help at all. So
mine haven't either.
Right?
Yep, they haven't.
I know, and Tim Temple's coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, but I know that I'm of the belief that until we see a special session on insurance, I don't think we're going to get across the finish line or anywhere near the finish line when it comes to helping out the car insurance rates.
Well, and I do tend to agree with you that when we are in a special session, we're very focused because either the governor calls us in or we call ourselves in, and we have a very limited call. So we're able to really hone in like we did with the crime session last year. And I would have liked to have seen an insurance special session, maybe not a couple months before, but you could do it 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the regular session. That begins in April. That being said, I don't think that's going to happen. I have talked to Commissioner Temple about it. He and I have had several conversations about bringing insurance companies back to Louisiana, or to Louisiana, back to Louisiana, keeping them in Louisiana. How do we do that? And I know that he is working really hard and tirelessly traveling the world really to talk to insurance companies and try to relay the message that Louisiana is a good place to do business, and we do have further reforms coming up. And he is committed to that, as I know our governor is as well. I think the thing that you get, we just came out of a special session in November, and it becomes an issue of, well, we have a special session, we have a regular session coming up. Everyone has 5 bills. You could put those bills into that session. But you're right. Whenever we do have a special session, you are a lot more focused.
Yeah.
But I think one of the other issues is coming off of a special session in November. This is a part-time job still, whether we like it or not. It is a part-time job. People do have lives. People do have families. And so it becomes really difficult when you've been in session for 6 months, 6.5 months out of the year for people to go back home and actually make a living, which is, what we need to do.
That's actually where I wanted the conversation to go right there. We're speaking with State Representative Paula Davis about the upcoming regular session, the 2025 regular session. So we had 3 specials and a regular last year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
When you count
Correct.
the mapping one, right?
Right.
What was the general mood going home at the end of the last special session, and now that a few months have passed, getting back together again? Because I feel like y'all were exhausted by the end of it.
We in June we were pretty exhausted. We had been in session, in special sessions and regular sessions since I believe January 8th to mid-June, and then coming back in November. All very important issues, all issues that we have to tackle. And so the mood after the November session, the tax session, I would say would be very upbeat, and it was exciting because we did pass some tax reform, and some of that was on the ballot in December, and some will be on the ballot in March. But at the same time, it's a catch-22 because people are away from their families. I'm very fortunate that I live here in Baton Rouge. So I'm with my husband. I get to sleep in my own bed, but people do have lives. They do have livings to make. And it's very difficult when you're gone for 6.5 months out of the year to go back home and either practice law or you're a pharmacist or whatever your job may be. You have a family to provide for, and so it becomes very difficult. And you will see a lot of members, in their off time when they're at the Capitol, sitting at their desk working, billing hours or whatever it may be, because you still have to provide for your family just like everybody else.
So as we get closer to the regular session coming up, is there, when you're in the thick of it for that long, did we see kind of an accelerated growth of relationships between the legislators because of the length of last year's calendar?
Oh, 100%. You do have that. That is one good thing is that, last year we had a whole new group of freshmen come in. And so you're able to get to know those folks and, form those bonds, form those relationships, form trust, and also, talk to members. You have a lot of time to get your message out and get what you want passed out. You're able to lobby your colleagues in a sense. So you do have that. But, it's funny. When we go into session at the beginning, it's always very exciting. It's kind of like Christmas. You walk into your family's house and you're really excited to see them. Yeah. And by the end of the night, you're like, oh my gosh, it's time to go home. So we do feel that at the end of session. But that being said, we do celebrate our wins, every day that we're there. And it's an honor and a privilege for us to be in this position, to be able to represent our districts. So that is never lost on us. But, when you're in session for 6.5 months, it does get exhausting and you're ready to just go home and see your families.
We got 4 minutes left with State Representative Paula Davis, and I got 3 more questions. So let's see if we can do this in order. March 29th, we're going to go to the ballots. Constitutional Amendment number 2 is going to kind of either free y'all up or jam y'all up, depending on how
Correct.
the vote comes out, as to what you could do to, I don't want to say manipulate the state budget, but take advantage of where dollars can come from. How much of what we can expect in April and May is based off of what happens on March 29th?
Oh, I think a lot of what happens on March 29th is going to dictate what happens in the regular session. I'm not sure how many bills have been filed yet. I know some have been filed. But yeah, a lot of it's going to depend on what happens to this constitutional amendment. And if it passes, great, we'll move forward from there. If not, then we kind of have to go back to the drawing board and figure out what to do. And we also have, if the constitutional amendment does pass, we do have issues where there may be some unintended consequences from the previous session in November where, things get left out, words need to be changed. I think you're going to see a lot of legislation that fixes some things for that we passed in November. But I think for the most part, yeah, we are all sitting on pins and needles waiting to see what this constitutional amendment does in March. And if that passes, then we go one way. And if it doesn't, then we, start a kind of, go to the drawing board and start rethinking some ideas.
Yeah. I mean, at that point,
Yeah.
everyone can get a haircut and get ready for
Right.
Louisiana's Doge, get ready for DEAUXGE.
Yes, exactly.
It'll be on its way.
Yeah.
Priorities.
And I am excited about this whole, this Louisiana Doge. I'm curious to see what the group comes up with and what savings we can see. I know that they're working hard at the federal level to do that. So I'm very curious, having been a state regulator back in the early 2000s, curious to see what this Doge comes up with. So it'll be interesting.
Top 3 priorities aside from fiscal matters. What do you think is going to be, what's going to be the hot topics?
Oh, hot topic. Well, I'm hoping that my IVF bill is a hot topic, and I'm very excited that President Trump came out with an IVF executive order. I guess about 2 weeks ago, encouraging insurance companies to pay for it and looking at other policy issues that he could, to help families create families. And that's what I've been trying to do for the past about 3 or 4 years now with my IVF legislation. So this legislation coming up, we'll have it filed in the Senate as well as the House, and it's just going to protect IVF in the state. It's going to basically do no more than that. Just be able to ensure Louisiana families that if that's the route they have to go, that they are protected and that it will be available in Louisiana. So that's kind of a first step. A couple of years ago, I did have a bill that would have required insurance companies to pay for IVF treatment. There was an aggregate, there was a cap. So it was not unlimited, but it would at least help families get that jump start when they are trying to create their families through IVF. I'm not bringing that bill this year. We're going to see what happens at the federal level. And depending on what happens there, I'll come back next year with something more than likely. Who knows? We're going to see a whole bunch of issues. Hopefully some issues regarding workforce development. I know Lobby is very invested in continuing to booster our workforce here in Louisiana. So I'm going to actually have a bill for them this session regarding the MJ Foster Promise Program. I had one last year, which expanded it. And so this year we're going to try a little bit more, bite off a little bit more. So hopefully we can get some more folks workforce ready. And of course, insurance reform. I know that Commissioner Temple will probably talk about it in your 8 o'clock hour, but I know he has a package of about 17, 18 bills, which are absolutely necessary, in my opinion, because we've got to do something. We've been saying this for years, and we've bitten off little bits at a time, but I think that people are still not seeing their auto insurance rates go down. And also we need more carriers for property, commercial, insurance as well.
Yep. I mean,
and he's been working so hard in
he has, but we keep sending them to the grocery store with less than $5. So
right. Exactly. We have to give him more tools.
Yeah.
Correct. So we have to continue to give him more tools. And that includes, tort reform, other insurance reform. We have strengthened our fortified roof program, which is fantastic.
Yep.
So we keep biting away at the apple bit by bit. We got to, I think, bite off some larger chunks so that we can give him the tools necessary to go to those markets and encourage those companies to write here.
She is State Representative Paula Davis. We'll talk to you again right before the session gets started.
Yes.
Thank you so much as always.
Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate it.
Likewise.
Bye-bye.
Here comes, we got to check local news, traffic, weather. When we come back, Attorney General Liz Murrill will be on the hotline next. I'm getting tired of answering these questions. Holy shit. This is dumb as shit. I wanted to get to this story because I'm legit. I will go off on this story so effing hard. Hypoxia is not the right. Well, then free up the damn drugs it takes to do the lethal injection. We've only gone this route. There's only one of the state going this route because the lethal injection drugs are impossible to get. I think you put us back into a firing squad. Hang a motherfucker. I don't care. Don't tell me what's humane and not humane when you take the most humane way to do things and take it off the table. Push you in a pit full of alligators. I don't care. And I'm not even a death penalty guy. Bro. State former treasurer John Schroeder talking Mardi Gras. I don't see it. I love him to pieces, and he's old school New Orleans as much as you can get. But like, I don't see John Schroeder up on a float, like hammered on Beam and Coke, going, "Yeah, baby!" I guess I should put my real shirt back on before you start taking pictures with Tim Temple in the studio, huh? Yeah. I'll do it during news at the top of the hour. I'm so comfortable.
Looks
I don't even a stiff white dress shirt back on.
Right.
So you would think the bills that get filed early for the legislative session would be the most important ones.
Right.
Yeah, not the case. HB 1, 2, and 3 are all spending. It's the budget and the capital outlay and all that.
Right.
HB 4 is about Class 6 CO2 wells. HB 5, one of the first two bills actually filed, because HB 1, 2, and 3 don't get filed yet. HB 5, one of the first two bills to actually be filed by Representative Stephen Jackson, provides relative to the penalty for a second or subsequent offense of soliciting for prostitutes.
Okay.
And as this offense to the enumerated sex offenses for purposes of sex offender registration and notification requirements. This is the most important shit we got to deal with right now.
I know.
People who frequent prostitutes more than once. I'm not saying it shouldn't be. I'm not saying one way or another.
Just that
on the level of crime. I'm just saying, like, is this the priority?
Right.
Oh, is it weather?
Yes.
All right. We got a pretty cool start off to the morning. How's that going to go? Where is that going to go from here? Here's the McCade Cowan.
But yeah, as far as that ranks in priority, yeah, you're right. I mean,
right.
Like, that's what we're looking at. Like, that's what we're dealing with here.
Guys, what's the first thing we got to do when we get there? Budget. Okay, we'll worry about that later. What's the next thing we got to do? Stop going to prostitutes! And just It's like when you see
Yikes.
when you see instructions like it says don't iron your clothes while wearing them. You know that started somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
right.
where did this start? What angry wife back in his district was like, you got to put a stop to this.
Yeah, baby, I will. You know
She's
what?
bleeding the account dry.
Yeah.
All right, back on task. Let's get serious. 738 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We're going to keep it moving right now. We got so much ground to cover today, and we're nowhere near done. We're going to talk women's health with the Pennington Biomedical Research Center in our next hour. We're going to talk with Congresswoman Julia Letlow in our next hour, and we've got Tim Temple in the next hour as well, talking about, among other things, the possibility of a special session on insurance. Is it needed? Is it the only way to get people focused? We'll have all those conversations later on. Right now, though, I want to talk death penalty, and we welcome back to the show Attorney General Liz Murrill. Attorney General Murrill, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you, Brian?
I am doing very well as well. I don't know where to begin the discussion because there's so much backlogged here and kind of treading out of where we were to where we are going. How do you get the ball rolling to enforce the law as the law is?
Well, I think we have gotten the ball rolling, and that was by setting some warrants and asking for warrants to be set and setting dates for the penalty to be carried out on those people who we knew had exhausted all of their post-conviction relief. Mm-hmm. And that has a way of jump-starting the system. I mean, everybody knows that we are ready to move and that we intend to move. There's been so much time that everybody has been just sitting, waiting for the state to do something that, we now have to go back and look at 56 cases and see where they all stand and make sure that they move. And I may have to move some legislation to make sure that we can, make this move more efficiently.
We're talking with Attorney General Liz Murrill as the death penalty is now, I don't want to say back on the table, but back in effect in Louisiana. You said we've got 56 that are backlogged.
It was 57, and then Christopher Sepulveda died over the weekend.
Yes, he was the 81-year-old death row inmate who died over the weekend. That was we reported on that earlier in the week. So we're at 56 right now. Did they have? When it comes to the scheduled executions, I mean, have we already missed dates?
Well, yes. I mean, there have been dates that have been set, and then those executions were stayed because of pending litigation. And one of the matters that was in litigation was a class action that was filed in the Middle District in front of then Judge Brady many years ago. I think it was filed in 2012, and I inherited it when I came into the Attorney General's office and started defending it. Then eventually, it was dismissed because it's a challenge to the protocol, the drug protocol, and there were no drugs. Mm-hmm. And the Department of Corrections was clear that they could not carry it out without the drugs, and so Judge Dick dismissed that lawsuit. Most recently, those plaintiffs have come back in, led by Jesse Hoffman, who does have a date for execution, in an attempt to reopen that case in federal court and challenge the nitrogen hypoxia method and protocol. And those are just two different things. And so when Judge Dick issued that order, we immediately got a stay from the Fifth Circuit and blocked it.
When someone challenges the nitrogen hypoxia here, and I believe we're one of only two states who are going this route, when someone challenges that, walk me through how you argue against it, because we didn't have a problem with lethal injection until the drugs couldn't become until the drugs were no longer available. I don't understand saying we have this new method here that we're going to use, but how is the argument any deeper than, well, if you give us the lethal injection option back, we wouldn't have to go this route?
Well, that's a little bit of a complicated question, just because it has to do with how the Supreme Court has either allowed or disallowed these kinds of challenges. And what the current precedent says is that if you want to challenge a method of execution, you have to identify a different method, or your case can't go forward. So that's one of the obstacles that they have. They just, they're opposed to the death penalty. These are, the death penalty opponents. And then the lawyers for the individuals who are facing the death penalty, their job is obviously to try and prevent that from going forward, or prevent it, or get the conviction overturned, or somehow get the penalty commuted to life in prison. So they're constantly working in that direction. That is their job. But mine and the district attorneys and the states is to move the law forward, carry out the law as it is on the books and as it was intended by the jury and the judge who gave this person this sentence.
Attorney General Liz Murrill is our guest, and yes, your answer was way better than the way I phrased the question. But it was because of that complexity that I was having trouble getting it out. Let's talk process real quick. We're looking at 56 death row inmates. When it comes to the appeals process, has everything been exhausted for all 56?
No, and so there are some people, quite a few, who have not exhausted all of their appeals. And one of the problems that we've had that I would like to address in the next legislative session is this issue where they will file shell petitions in post-conviction relief and then not come back and fill them out, and they'll just let them sit, or they'll come back and make new claims, and then the courts, have to address new claims. There's this kind of endless process of litigation in the state courts before they go to federal court, and legally, we don't have to offer post-conviction relief as a matter of law or due process. We could have them just go straight to federal court, but we do. The legislature has that process. The problem that we have is that there are some loopholes that allow it, that have been exploited basically, that allow it to remain open for a lengthy period of time. And when I say lengthy, I'm talking about 15 and 20 years. Mm-hmm. And so it's extremely difficult for the state to litigate those claims 20 years late. And many times these defendants are just sitting on their rights. They may have a claim. They may have a right to a hearing. That was true in Larry Roy's case out of Rapides. He had obtained an order 20 years ago, I think, that he could have an evidentiary hearing on a particular issue. He never asked for it. They never conducted the hearing. And, I think that's on him. I mean, he was supposed to ask for it. He was given the ability to have a hearing. He never pressed the courts to have the hearing. And I think the burden was on him to have the hearing that the courts had said he could have, because he can waive those rights. But it's issues like that we're going to have to litigate. I may need legislation just to open a window where they can come in, assert these claims, and then close the window.
Okay, I think you answered my next question before I asked it, because if the last execution was in 2010, what's been going on for 15 years?
Nothing. They've just been sitting, because in a death penalty case, the longer that you have no action, the better. So, they had no incentive to move these claims forward in court, because there was no threat of an execution being carried out. If there was, then they would have moved to have their claims decided, because that's how you get a stay of execution. I have a claim, it hasn't been decided, but don't execute me until my claims are decided or ruled on, all the way up to the United States Supreme Court. So they have been patiently waiting for the state to resume carrying out the penalty, with no incentive to move these claims until that happens.
Okay, and I know this isn't a question for you. I mean, I probably should be asking it of like the Innocence Project or somebody, but we when we hear stories about exonerations and whatnot, I would imagine having a 15-year window to prove someone's innocence would, give a little time to get some work done.
Well, they have had plenty of time to get work done, for sure. And by the way, the state has paid the bill for that. I mean, we have a contract with Death Penalty Counsel through the Public Defender's Office. They are paid several $1 million a year to defend these claims, which, in that defense, they are entitled to a defense under the law. But they haven't been doing that work to the best of my knowledge. They certainly haven't been asking for the hearings to go forward in court. And again, they have no incentive to do that. For them, delay is the game. And you saw that play out with Christopher Sepulvedo. I mean, he was convicted of a brutal crime against a 6-year-old.
In 92, right?
What's that? He
was
81 or 82 when he died.
I'm saying the crime was in 1992.
That's right. Yeah. And it was he basically scalded a 6-year-old to death after he beat him senseless. I mean, it's, these are brutal crimes. And I think that the state should have been more careful. I mean, we should have been moving these cases forward. We promised justice to the families of these victims.
Mm-hmm.
There are some cases like Larry Roy's case, where some of the victims are still alive. He tried to cut the throat and kill two young boys in that crime, and murdered 2 other people. So there are some victims who've survived some of these attacks, and they've been waiting for justice, and the state has not delivered. And so now we are.
If I'm not mistaken, that Larry Roy case was also done in front of children. If I remember it right.
I think they were 9 and 10 years old, and he took them in a room and slit their throats and left them there to die, but they didn't die, and they survived. And, so he did stab their aunt to death, and I think he stabbed another man to death who was in the house. He tried to kill the boy's mother. I mean, these are brutal crimes.
Absolutely. Before we chat, we got less than a minute to go with Attorney General Liz Murrill. What's our schedule looking like? When is this going to come to fruition for the first execution to resume?
Well, Jesse Hoffman's execution is still scheduled for March 18th. Nothing has blocked. No judge has blocked that execution date yet.
Mm-hmm.
I would expect more litigation, frenzied litigation, to occur before that date happens, and we're prepared to defend it. On the others, we are looking at every case to see where they are. We have filed some papers in the Roy case to deal with this claim that they say is still open.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of other cases that I believe are exhausted. Antoinette Frank is in New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
That's another brutal case. I think that they're trying to claim that they have an unexhausted claim, and we'll have to address that in the court.
She's Attorney General Liz Murrill. We always appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Here's your money now. It's a transmitter problem. The part is in. Our engineers are working on it. I've gotten off task with my live reads again. I do so good for like 4 days. And then just leave the rails. It can't be, though. I've got to be better than that. 7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Man, been a busy show thus far, and we have no signs of slowing down. Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple at 8:05. We got Pennington Biomedical in at 8:15. We're going to speak with Congresswoman Julia Letlow at 8:35. Oh, wait. If we get the Insurance Commissioner at 8:05, that means we got to move this day in history up to right now. All right.
All right.
Even in a shortened segment, the folks at 5 Star are accommodating the this day in history.
Yes, indeed. 1862, the first legal tender act of 1862 is passed by the U.S. Congress, authorizing the United States. You know what, Brian? I made a mistake.
What?
That was yesterday's. I'm sorry. 1773. State of Pennsylvania approves construction of the Walnut Street Jail in Philadelphia. It will become the first experiment with the practice of solitary confinement in the United States.
The Walnut Street Jail?
Yeah.
Horribly named jail.
I know. 1863, Abraham Lincoln signs National Currency Act, establishes a single national U.S. currency.
Okay.
1983, music news here. Michael Jackson's Thriller album goes on to be #1 and stays #1 for 37 weeks.
Yeah, it does.
A decade later.
That's a banger.
Oh, yeah, for sure. A decade later, World Trade Center bombing of 93, where a truck bomb explodes in parking lot garage of NYC World Trade Center.
Wait a minute. You missed 1815.
What was
Napoleon escaped from Elba.
Oh.
Yeah. Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Yes,
Gotta go.
Let's see. 2012 today is the anniversary. 17-year-old teenager Trayvon Martin was shot and killed by George Zimmerman.
Yeah, man.
Today.
Ooh, golly, everybody remembers that one.
Yes.
Got birthdays? Oh, you got another one?
Oh, no. No, it's not. It's not worth mentioning. Birthdays today. Johnny Cash.
Okay.
Today. Chris Pine.
Mm-hmm.
Victor Hugo today as well.
Ooh.
Let's see. Any more on? Erykah Badu as well today.
The on top of that, you mentioned Johnny Cash, but also Jackie Gleason.
Yes.
Was born on this day in 1916, and born on this day in 1928. Fats Domino.
Yeah.
And while we're talking New Orleanians, how about running back Marshall Faulk?
There we go. I like it.
Yep.
I like it. Stack today. Let's see. Where am I? Okay, famous deaths here. Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks on death today.
Okay.
Yep. Let's see. Anybody else on your end? I don't know. Or maybe
No. We were short on deaths. A lot of births of people I didn't know, but
right.
Yeah. All right, national days.
Carpe Diem Day.
Carpe Diem Day.
Carpe Diem and
I
make
wonder
the
why.
most of the present.
I wonder why. 226 would be Carpe Diem Day. We're coming up on 8 o'clock at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. I got just enough time to tell you about the folks over at Vex European. Check them out online at vexeuropean.com. That's V as in Vinny, because, it's Vinny's place there. Celebrating their 10th anniversary this year. 10 years of specialization, 10 years of making sure you are paired with a technician who is a master level, expert level in your make of vehicle. Go to vexeuropean.com, hit that little drop-down tab where it says vehicles. If you see your make of vehicle on there, you're good to go. And you're going to stay with the same tech because your tech will follow you to make sure he knows your vehicle and how to service your vehicle inside and out. Whether you're talking about major engine repair or anything all the way down to a simple oil change, vexeuropean.com is your starting place. They're on Benefit Drive. It's in the backside of Industriplex. vexeuropean.com. Mercedes, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, McLaren, Ferrari. I know they do the exotics as well. vexeuropean.com. It's heads up 8 o'clock. Time for news.
Also, this day in history, in 2021, toy maker Hasbro announces that the Mr. Potato Head brand name will be changed to be gender neutral. That's right, Mr. Potato Head. It's going to be changed to be gender neutral.
How's your world? Mardi Gras? I hope so. I'm taking off Mardi Gras Day. We will go, Rex no Zulu. We go to Rex before it. like what's on Louisiana before it turns on to St. Charles, early, and get out of there early, and secondhand high from all the weed. You can't go to Rex without walking away. That's true. Hell, it's much Baton Rouge at this point. How about you? Everything good? It's gonna be weird. My oldest is not gonna be with us. I'm taking her to the airport. She's at St. Joseph's. She took 4 years of French, and she was president of the French Club and everything. So she's leaving for Paris on Friday morning. Oh really? She loving it? Best money I've ever spent. They literally have something for everyone. It's impossible not to find some level of. I mean, for Carrie, it was. She started off as a cross country runner and a basketball player. Got cut from both of those, so she became a power lifter and a gymnast. Yeah, she sucks at gymnastics, but the girls who are good don't do high school gymnastics. Yeah, and then the French club stuff and the campus ministry. Yes, her mother and I are going to be a nervous wreck the entire time, but what do you want to cover today?
Whatever, I'm wide open. I know, I heard some calls out there about upcoming session. We're working on package bills. We'll talk about the HO battle that we need to have special.
Well, so I'm 100% in favor of the special. I mean, it would have to be after. I mean, that's where we're at right now. Yeah. Yeah. (806) Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, John producing. Busy hour this hour. Of course, we moved this day in history up to last hour, which of course is presented by 5-Star Printing and Signs. 271-4096, 271-4096. If you're in Denham, just cruising up and down Range Avenue, you know where Big Mike's is at? Yeah, Danny just moved his headquarters to right next door to Big Mike's. So take a look around your business, look at your business card, look at your brochures, look at your menus, look at whatever you got. Is it time for a refresh? Well, go see Danny right there next to Big Mike's, 271-4096. Oh, by the way, merch is more valuable now than it's ever been before. Branding is more valuable now than it's ever been before. Danny can put your logo on anything under the sun. Go to printshop5.com to get a look at some examples right there. Whether you talk about a big thermal mug or the koozies or everything under the sun, they've got it for you at printshop5.com, or just give them a call, 271-4096. Let them know you heard about it right here. All right. We have got a lot of ground to cover with Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple, who's in studio right now. Commissioner Temple, good morning. How are you? Welcome back.
Good morning, Brian.
We missed our January visit because Blizzard and Washington Mardi Gras all combined into one. Did you ever make it up to DC?
I was there the first part of the week.
Okay.
And came back Thursday. I think we were trying to get on your show Thursday and had to come back that night.
Okay. And you went in opposite order of
Right,
everybody else.
exactly, yeah.
Louisiana moved in when you were flying out.
That's right.
Can't say I blame you. It was hectic. It was kind of squeezing everything into 2 days instead of 3 or 4.
It was a frantic couple of days. I know everybody was running around leading up to that Thursday, Friday, trying to drive anywhere and everywhere they could to catch a flight out.
Yeah. I heard some stories. But BTR got over, like everybody, it was like, you remember the movie Home Alone?
Yes.
Where is it Catherine O'Hara goes through all the hoops and goes to all the different airports and goes all over creation, and the family shows up like 20 minutes later?
Right.
Yeah. If
That's
we just
what it
waited
was.
20 minutes, BTR was wide open, like at the same time as everybody else. So, snow does not thaw faster in Lafayette than it does in Baton Rouge. So, all right. What's been up lately? How's things?
Yeah, look, I think everybody, your listeners know we've got, and I listened to Representative Paula Davis earlier. We've got a session coming up, April 14th. It is a fiscal session, but we are working on a package of bills to continue to push insurance reform. As I've maintained since I took office, that every session we have, we're going to bring reform. I just got back from a meeting, and I was talking to the commissioner of Florida and the commissioner of South Carolina. Those states are in session. Arkansas is in session. Mississippi is in session. Alabama is in session. Texas is in session. All these states, they are constantly, every year they meet, they are continuing to push the ball forward on insurance reform. Right. And that's why I maintain we have to full court press every single chance we get. And so we've got a package of bills we're working on, somewhere around 18, 19, I think, last count, that are, I'm not saying evenly split, but split between property and auto reform. There's a couple of work comp bills in there as well. And then there's probably a banker's dozen of what I would call technical, just department bills, trying to do things like increase the notice of cancellation that companies have to provide to you if they're going to non-renew. We want to move that from 30 to 45 days. So we're just, and I call that technical, but meaning they're just more department bills. So we've got an aggressive schedule. I know it's a fiscal session.
Yes.
Legislators are only limited to 5, general bills. And so we're working with our legislators to see who's going to author that. And again, I expect, and I would say ready to expect an aggressive package of bills.
We're talking with Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple about the upcoming legislative session. I'm going to ask you the most cynical of questions, and that is, can we get this done in a regular session? Can we get we saw the ball move down the field a little bit in the last legislative session. Property side, awesome stuff.
Yep.
Auto side, not so
awesome.
much. Right. Do we have the will and the wherewithal to stay focused and stay on task during a regular session? Or if we want to see real change, see that catapult to get things started, do we need a special session on insurance?
Well, look, I've maintained for over a year now that we need a special session to address, truly get the transparency around what needs to change to make Louisiana more attractive, to bring balance back to our insurance and legal system and medical system as well there. And I'm going to maintain, and I mean, unless somebody comes up with some kind of legislation that I've not ever seen proposed before that's going to fix everything magically, then yeah, we've got to have a special session. But I don't want to detract that. Look, I think our legislators have the ability, I know they do, to deal with some of these very important issues during a fiscal session.
Yes.
But again, I think that if we want to have, I'm told all the time, this has been a 40-year battle, tort reform, legal reform, whatever you want to call it. That they've been fighting this out in the legislature for 40 years. Well, you know what they've not done in that 40 years? Had a special session to address it. So let's do that. Let's have this, whatever you want to call it, battle royale, bring all the transparency from all sides and either fix it or don't.
Right. But get on the record as to whether or not you want to see it fixed.
Exactly. And look, I think the citizens of Louisiana deserve a special session. I think that, look, they've had special sessions last year, several, to address some very complex issues. We know insurance is also complex, and that's why I think we need to have one. But irrespective, we're going to bring a package of bills this fiscal session to continue to push the ball forward. Like I said, both on property and auto. But again, we're including workers' comp. We've got some I call them cleanup bills on work comp that we're going to continue to push. Because I want to push on all fronts. I want to make Louisiana a state where insurance companies feel comfortable coming in and writing your business, and that consumers are taken care of from a regulatory standpoint as well. So we can do that. Other states do it. Louisiana dang well can as well.
How much of stick with auto insurance, because I had a couple of different questions on that one, and we've only got 4 minutes left. How much on the auto insurance front is there a tie-in towards economic development here? As Susan Bourgeois goes out and tries to sell the state, a lot of the companies that she would like to bring here would have fleets, and not just that, but they all have drivers. So, how much of an economic development play can you make to say we need to do this?
Look, I think it's huge, and we have. When I'm traveling the state and I get in front of folks in the transportation business, they tell me they can expand their business.
Yes.
but they don't because of the cost of insurance.
Right.
It's not because of taxes. It's not because of education. It's not because of qualifications of employees. It's insurance, and insurance costs.
Yeah.
So it is part. And look, I'm extremely grateful and proud of the work that the governor and the legislature has done to tackle some of those things I just mentioned: tax reform, education reform, revamping LED. I mean, Susan is running 100 miles an hour, and she's got all kinds of tools to attract businesses in those other areas. But if we don't address this insurance crisis, Louisiana is not going to, in my opinion, is not going to be able to achieve its full economic greatness potential.
Yeah.
With that, and I think we are poised to just explode on the economic development front. But we've got to add insurance to this.
So, and I'll take it a step further, because it's when someone says nobody chooses where they're going to locate their company based off of car insurance, I would rebut and say everyone chooses where they're going to relocate their company based off of the P&L.
Yeah.
Like, so when you're showing a big L right there, when that column is going to stand out in the red by a big number.
Well, and Brian, like I've said on your program before, when you're the highest in the nation for your auto cost and your homeowners, your property, and we can argue limits and premiums, but when you put dollar to dollar, we're the highest.
Yes.
And you're telling employees, oh, I want you to move to Louisiana from wherever you are. When you're the highest, that means their insurance costs are going up.
Right.
And so that you may do all these things to attract a business to the state, but you got to have employees. And we want to create jobs for the folks that are here, but we also want to attract new people as well. And we've talked about Louisiana's got a negative outflow of population. If we want to grow, we've got to make sure that we talk about insurance, and we not only talk about it, but we fix it.
We got Tim Temple in for 3.5 more minutes. We'll call it 3. When you talk about auto insurance costs, I think from an economic development standpoint, you say auto insurance and you're talking one niche. When you say cost of doing business and cost of living, like, everybody's radar goes up. I mean, these two are one and the same. I want to pivot real quick. I don't want to get too deep in the woods, but and I'm hitting you about this completely out of left field with this. I got a question about one of the medical transparency bills.
Okay.
From last session. Someone asked me, how does that not cross the streams with privacy for a patient? When you talk about, whether that's the billing that the insurance sees versus the billing that the hospital does, does that violate any privacies?
Well, I mean, if they're showing the bill what was billed versus paid, well, they're already showing that information.
Okay.
So, so what additional is being violated? I don't think that there is one.
I don't know.
I don't think that's an issue.
Questions sent to me, and so I passed them along.
Sure. No, but right now, that's the argument is that what's presented is what was billed versus what was paid. Okay. Well, I don't know that they're listing every treatment, but they're showing a number.
Okay.
We're talking about the math, not what the treatment is.
Right. When you see the hospital bill, you're seeing, or the doctor's bill, you're seeing that bottom line total sum due.
Right.
You're not seeing the itemized, here's everything that was
I'm
treated.
assuming you're not, but
Okay.
I mean, whether you are or you're not, information is already being presented. So all we're saying is just additional numbers.
We've got, you said, roughly 18 bills that are going to, and we're getting back on task for the big picture, roughly 18 bills that are going to be presented as part of a whole package. Next time you're on, I mean, I'm sure there'll be a lot more pre-filed legislation by then. Right now, there's nothing in the insurance committees yet, but as we get closer to the legislative session, of course, you're gonna be back on with us to talk about what's to come. But if you could prioritize, what's the number one that's got to get done?
And look, Brian, I'm hesitant to ever say number one because people then gravitate toward, oh, that's a silver bullet. And I just, as we've said, there's not one.
You know what? That's lesson learned. Yeah,
right.
We've done that before.
And so I don't think it's fair to say, oh, this is the most important one. Like I said, it's a holistic, collective approach. We've got to pass a number of bills. No one bill is going to fix it. And so I don't want to say that this is the most important, but I will say the theme should be transparency.
Okay. Last one before we get you out of here, and that's I know you're always out working to recruit new carriers, new providers. What's the latest there?
Yeah, look, and again, I was just at an event, and I was in a room with I think 270 insurance company and reinsurance executives, continuing to tout the message of what we've done property wise. What we're going to continue to do on the property reform front. and what we're doing to tackle the auto crisis in our state and promote our state. So I think the last count, there were 8 companies that in the last year, 8 companies that were writing some other line of business other than homeowners property that have filed policy forms to start writing homeowners. These are companies that are already here, but they weren't writing homeowners. Look, and that doesn't mean they're going to start writing homeowners tomorrow.
No,
but it means that they're gearing up, that they're setting the stage, they're filing the policy forms, rates, everything to start moving in that direction. Like I said, we've got a handful, less than 5 companies that are going through the process to come to Louisiana and do business in our state from a property standpoint. The commercial property front too. I talked to the surplus lines markets, the reinsurance markets. They are in the process of allocating more capital to our state, and more capital means competition.
Yes.
When they allocate money, they want it to be put into play. And so I think that, look, I hear it all the time on the street too. People are seeing rate decreases because they're switching carriers, and I'm going to hammer that message every chance I get. Every time your renewal comes up, don't automatically just think you're going to stay with your carrier. Get quotes, switch your carrier. And if I can, just real quick on this, we're starting to see the number of companies filing rate changes, because I get that all the time. When are rates coming down? The number of companies in 24 that filed for rate increases is less than what the number was in 23 and 22. So we're trending downward, and the rate that they're asking for, that they're taking, the rate increases, that number is coming down. It's starting to come closer to 0.
Okay.
So we are trending in the right direction. I know people want to see rates drop immediately, but we're moving in that direction. And again, people that get discount or that pay less than they did last year is because they switched carriers.
Shop around.
Shop.
He is Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple. We always appreciate the time, sir.
Thank you.
Quick break. Coming back. Pennington Biomedical Research Center's in next.
Yeah, so we're moving in that direction. The thing that we'll talk about next time too, maybe, is on the tax front. And I know there was March 29th we got that election to.
Yes, and I feel like everything's going to wait until that election's over.
I think it is, but I'll tell you this: we're projected to collect $45 million more premium tax dollars this coming fiscal year, versus last year. That means that's just because you paid more on your homeowners, your auto.
Yeah.
So the tax that the state charges, the state is collecting $45 million more this year than last year. We collected $100 million more the prior year, $183 million more the year before that.
Okay.
Prior to Hurricane Laura, the state collected about $1 billion in premium tax.
Wow.
Homeowners, auto, work comp, E&O, healthcare, everything. All insurance is taxed as a premium tax.
Yeah.
The state collected about $1 billion. This year, we're going to collect almost 1.5. We're collecting almost $500 million now than we were prior to Hurricane Laura because of premium increases. Not because of the rate change, not the tax rate.
Right.
The tax rate is just the amount that we're all paying is more, so the tax is more.
That's insane. That is insane.
So that's another bill I'm going to bring this year.
All right,
to reduce premium tax.
Let's move that one to the top of the charts next time.
All right, appreciate you.
Always.
Thanks so much. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Keep it straight.
Yes, sir. Sorry, I ran a little long right there. You ready? We got both y'all, right?
Yeah.
I'm moving over to 2. On this one.
I'm sorry, can I get your name?
JD or John. Just say John Lovelace. Sorry. Lovelace. Yeah.
And you, man?
Catherine Champagne. Spelled Catherine with a C. Champagne like the beverage.
We're probably going to go a little bit over because I ran over on that last segment. So I'll call ABC and apologize.
You have to do that.
Contractually, yes. I mean, we're supposed to have news at the bottom of the hour,
Mhm.
and we're gonna miss it, and I already know that. So, yeah.
So Kathy is our Pennington fact.
823 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Told y'all it was gonna be a fast hour, and it absolutely is. Time to pivot and talk Women's Wellness Day, or sorry, the Wellness Day for Women, being put on by the Pennington Biomedical Research Center. Dr. Catherine Champagne and John Lovelace are in studio. How y'all doing this morning?
We're doing well.
Nice being
Let's
here.
get you right up. Let's scooch up just a little bit closer to the mic. There we go. When Wellness Day for Women, what is it and when is it?
Well, this is our 25th anniversary of Wellness Day for Women. It is going to be on Saturday, March the 8th, beginning at 7 in the morning, and we're going until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This event has really drawn a lot of mostly women in our area, and we see repeat customers almost every year. They seem to know me as well, since they ask me, "Oh, are you speaking this year?" And like, they like to hear me talk, but I have to give the podium up to some other people. And this year we have 3 main speaking events. The one is the importance of GI health in women.
Okay.
Women and heart health. And then something unique this year is a panel of about 5 of our staff, our professors at Pennington, who are going to be talking about health and wellness. It's sort of like an open panel where they'll introduce what they do, and then we will open it up for questions. So I think that's going to be very informative, and we're looking forward to that, because it really is something different, and we're going to see how well the attendees like it.
Coming up on March 8th, and along with the speakers, there'll be a number of screenings as well.
That's right. We're going to have, so one of our sponsors is Our Lady of the Lake, and they're bringing a bunch of free screenings for everyone who shows up. We're talking blood pressure, blood glucose. They're going to do a total lipid panel, stroke risk, and we're doing skin mammogram tests, all kinds of things like that, all for free.
Awesome stuff. And let's talk about women's health for just a minute, because like, as a man, I know what are the hot points for men's health. I know heart health is always a big one. I know I no matter what, I'm told I got to lose weight. On the women's side, how much of things like heart health just get ignored?
Heart health is actually up to the forefront and in women's minds, because it is one of the leading causes of death in women. But there are so many other things that I find with women, their interest level in their health seems to be a little bit higher than most of the men. In fact, in our research studies, most of the people that want to participate are women. So it tells you that either their interest level is high, or their inability, their concern about their health is a little bit higher. But let me just say about this event. This event, we call it Wellness Day for Women, but we have seen a lot of husbands, we've seen a lot of men there, and so it's really open to all comers.
As far as women's overall health is concerned, this varies or changes as life progresses.
Right.
Adaptation. What's offered from an adaptation standpoint for what's offered for young women versus as life goes on?
Well, I will tell you that the majority of the women that come are sort of middle age, a little bit older, but we have drawn
John,
a lot
you see how I avoided using that word? I'll let her use that word.
Perfect.
But but in any event, we do have a lot of young women, and we try to encourage young women to come. Just because I think you need to start worrying about your health much earlier, before you get a little bit older.
Yep. Oh yeah. The needs change along the way, and if you can be a step ahead early, you can be a step ahead later as well.
Exactly.
You mentioned all the screenings, and you mentioned the talks and whatnot. That's the stick, but there's a carrot as well here. There's a passport to wellness card going out.
Yeah, so we have a passport that everyone gets, and basically it just has a bunch of things you can mark off that you do throughout the day. Like we have chair yoga, we're doing a free CPR demo. You go to our talks, you check off on the box what you've done. At the end of the day, you get a prize. So everyone's welcome to a prize this year. We have some really cool 25th anniversary T-shirts we're giving away, long sleeve, which is our big selling point this year. So yes, that's what the passport for wellness is for.
The long sleeve is a seller, by the way.
Oh yeah,
It is.
Everybody's got a T-shirt, but
exactly.
not everybody goes the long sleeve.
Exactly.
And that was my idea this year.
Gotta give it to her.
Very nicely
I
done.
said, because I look in my closet and I don't have enough long sleeve T-shirts.
We talked about some of the things, the physical health side, mental health. Let's dedicate a minute or two to that.
We over the years we've across the gamut of all the things. Mental health has been one of them. We had mental health last year.
Mm-hmm.
We try to skip a year. When COVID, when we got back after COVID, we had a lot of mental health type talks because you've gone through a pandemic and it's affected a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So we do that. We're trying to sort of diversify the talks that we give from year to year so that we don't do the same talk every year. So we've had mental health several years in a row.
But we do have someone from Beacon Mental coming out, having a booth, who will have one-on-one discussions. We're not doing a talk per se this year, but we will have that vendor there.
When it comes to mental health, I want to ask about the difference between women and men here, because I know as a man, we table it. We do.
Yep.
When it comes to women, how much attention is paid on this front?
Well, that's kind of a hard question. I believe that a lot of attention is paid in view of the facts that we have many studies at Pennington that actually may be focused on mental health, and we will have a Pennington recruitment booth there, and there will be studies available that people could, apply for. One of them is like dementia. We have a big dementia core at Pennington where they're looking at, the effects of dementia as you get older, because, I had one of my friends and said to me, she went to her doctor and she said, I really don't like this new thing that's going around, this new disease. And he said, what is that? She said, it's dementia.
It's not new.
Right.
No, but she seems like it's a chronic disease,
right.
Or like contagious.
Right, you can catch it. Yeah. We're going through that in the family right now, so that kind of hits home.
I had the same thing, and John has.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an easy battle.
Fun.
And by the way, when it comes to dementia, that affects everybody on a stress level as well, on an anxiety level as well, on a depression level as well.
Yes.
And all these things translate back to mental health. Talk to me for just a second about the tolls that these mental health issues take on physical health.
Well, it's been said that a lot of people that are in the hospital are well, except they're there because mentally they don't feel well.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of feel like it takes a toll on a person. I had a relative that died of a disease, and basically it was a dementia, but then you start thinking about all the little aches and pains you might have, and you wonder if you're next.
Right.
And I think that women would probably focus on that more so than men.
I mean, yeah, you carry it with you. You get the lack of sleep. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. Women's or the Wellness Day for Women coming up on March 8th. Give us the details one more time. Where do folks need to go on day of, or do they need to go somewhere to sign up first?
They can sign up first from our website at pbrc.edu or just by Googling Wellness Day for Women. But anyone's welcome. You can come the morning of, register on site, and you'll get off. You'll have ability for these free screenings. We're going to have a free light breakfast. We're going to have a free lunch. If you do the passport, you're going to get a free T-shirt. There's going to be some great educational talks going as well.
He is John Lovelace with Pennington Biomedical Research Center, as well as Dr. Catherine Champagne with Pennington. Thank you all so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Thank you.
It was our pleasure.
We got to check local news, traffic, weather. Congresswoman Julia Letlow is up next.
All righty.
painless.
Thank
Right?
you, sir.
She's coming in person. We heard that you like in person better than on.
I do.
I did a phone for men. It's nicer in person.
So for a couple of different reasons. Number one, we post all the interviews online. So he gets to take a picture in the middle of it to go along with that.
Oh,
Nice.
you took a picture already?
Yes. Which, by the way, y'all are more than welcome to steal and use on your social. Number two is, especially when I have two guests, over the phone it's disjointed. In person, we can make eye contact, and nonverbal communication is huge.
Yeah, that's true.
I made him come.
I appreciate it.
He was gonna just have me,
Right.
and I said, "Well, I need to have you talk about the screenings and all that." So
You did a good job. So I
good.
might try to come back for men's. All of my marketing guys talk to y'all.
Absolutely. Let's go.
So, and then I think it works better in person. So
I can call in too. What's that?
You're the hit man.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
I'll take care of it.
You too. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Here we go. Schroeder in the parade. There's Julia. If I got tired all of a sudden. I mean, it's been a sprint. Today has been a sprint.
I was telling Tim Temple that. I'm like, I can't believe we're in the 8 o'clock hour already.
Yeah. What am I talking about here? What's Matt's email? A text. There it is. All right, it's time to get a look at your forecast. And here's what we've got going on. Sunny skies today and a high of 75. Look for some clouds tomorrow. Look for some fog tomorrow morning, high of 74. Friday, we're right back to sunny skies with a high of 75. By the way, we're only getting down to the mid 50s tonight, but tomorrow night and Friday night should be the mid 40s. Looking ahead to the weekend, we might see 80 degrees. Sunday is a high of 72. Next week, I don't want to look past Tuesday because we got a 60% chance of rain on Tuesday. So that's going to shake things up a little bit. Right now, sunny and 56 in downtown Baton Rouge. We're at 8:39 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We're running a little bit behind, so let's waste no time at all. Congresswoman Julia Letlow on the hotline for DC Current, presented by LABI. Congresswoman Letlow, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great, Brian. Always great to be with you.
Yes, always great to have you on. We got so much business to attend to today. But I want to start with something that's completely not congressional business related, but what's coming up. 1 week from yesterday, we're going to have the State of the Union address, which I can't believe the president scheduled the State of the Union for Mardi Gras Day. But tell me what you're looking forward to for next Tuesday.
Right. I'm a little disappointed that it's on Fat Tuesday, but so excited that I'm going to be able to attend President Trump's address to Congress. And, I expect the president to detail, of course, his accomplishments, but also future goals. And, of course, I support his agenda on securing the border, eliminating waste in government, and getting our economy moving. So looking forward to report back to you on that, Brian, once it happens next week. But couldn't be more excited.
If I'm remembering back to his first term, he would extemporize a little bit. State of the Unions were not brief.
That's right. And it starts a bit late. So
Yeah.
I expect everybody to be in their chair and waiting for him to come on. But yes, he likes to go rogue sometimes. And hey, that makes it even more interesting.
I need to hit one of the mobile sports betting apps and see if there's odds on who will President Trump finish the State of the Union before Rex meets Comus.
Yep. That would be a good bet.
All right, we got real stuff to talk about as well. Hey, can we start with rice? I saw earlier in the week that it was you and Clay Higgins looking to protect Louisiana rice here.
Yes, absolutely. So I joined Congressman Higgins in asking Trump to protect our Louisiana rice growers by levying tariffs on rice imports from several countries: India, Thailand, China, Pakistan, and Vietnam. Brian, our rice industry is being displaced by heavily subsidized rice from these countries. And even more concerning than that is that imports of foreign rice have doubled in the last decade, with a record 1.5 billion in 2024. And so Louisiana producers have the third largest state crop of domestic rice, behind only Arkansas and California. So we have to fight for our rice producers. This will help level the playing field for our Louisiana rice farmers. They're a huge part of our state's agriculture economy. I'm always going to be up here fighting for our ag communities. I hear from our rice farmers every day. So it was an honor to join Congressman Higgins in this effort.
Well, and at the same time, though, there was another news story about Congressman Higgins selling an extra 80,000 pounds to Iraq. We export a ton. Tons and tons of rice every year. We go out of our way to make sure that we're on the forefront of science when it comes to when it comes to how much we haul in or how much we harvest every year. I know the LSU Ag Center is way out front on that. Why is it we can export so much, but we have to worry about foreign product when it comes to the importing?
That's just it. We need to level out the playing field, and it's these heavily subsidized rice coming from these other countries that we're really concerned about. So yes, definitely want to be exporting. I congratulate Congressman Higgins in that effort and encouraging that as well. I'm going to be right along with him, but we need a level playing field for our rice farmers, and that's exactly what we're fighting for.
Yeah, he tack that extra 80,000, whatever it was, 80,000 tons on top. And was it tons or pounds? Regardless, it's like a waiter upselling you on dessert is what that was.
That's right.
We got Congresswoman Julia Letlow on with us. So what would the tariffs look like? I mean, how out of whack is the playing field?
Well, we'd have to get into the nitty gritty of it and make sure that it's level. But I'd work with President Trump on that to make sure that it's a fair playing field. Want to make sure that those numbers are accurate, but it would just be back and forth with the White House to make sure that we have fair numbers in play.
This is DC Current, presented by the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Of course, Lobby is your state's Chamber of Commerce. Learn more about them at labi.org. You got a bill passed through this week repealing a Biden administration regulation on natural gas. Give me the details.
Sure. So this was formerly known as the water emissions charge. It was established in the Inflation Reduction Act. You may recall the IRA, but it was not finalized by the Biden administration until November of 24. And it would impose financial penalties on facilities who produce methane emissions like oil and gas facilities. It's yet to be implemented, and the House will be using the Congressional Review Act this week to formally overturn it. We're pushing that today to push back on the Biden administration's war on American energy. And so we'll use our authority in Congress to overturn this misguided policy today, Brian. Energy is the lifeblood of our economy. I can't state it enough, and this new regulation would hurt American energy dominance if implemented. So this is our Congress getting to work for the American people for the mandate that they gave us in November. So I'm excited to vote for that today.
I feel like this ties into a lot of the energy production that we're about to see here in Louisiana as we're about to take a big step forward.
Absolutely. We've been screaming that from the rooftops, our entire congressional delegation on the Republican side. Louisiana knows how to do it best. Let us unleash our domestic energy production, and we will. It's a matter of national security, and I'm all for it.
Congresswoman Julia Letlow is our guest. What kind of support do you have on this? We all know with Congress, it's not about what you're pitching, but who's behind it. What kind of support do you have here?
I expect full support, and maybe even some Democrats to jump on board. We all know that energy production is a matter of national security, so I fully expect it to pass today.
Congresswoman Letlow, I'm looking at the clock. Want to make sure we have time for everything, but can we revisit a topic we covered last week? Because if anybody missed it last week, we talked about some pretty big stuff when it comes to disaster assistance for farmers. If you would please reset what it is you're going after here.
Yeah, so I'm reintroducing my disaster recovery for farmers to just make sure that they receive disaster recovery funds in a timely manner. As you know, with the federal government, when disaster strikes, especially in Louisiana, we know this all too well, that those recovery dollars can take years to receive. And that's too long for our farmers. We've seen farms go under because they weren't able to receive those funds in a timely manner. So I'm reintroducing my legislation that will do just that for our foresters, our producers, our farmers, and make sure that they receive those payments in a timely manner. I'm encouraged that I heard last week that some of that language will be included in the farm bill that we're redrafting again this year. So stay tuned, but I'm hopeful that will make it all the way through.
One more before I get you out of here, and this one might be coming out of left field a little bit, but did I read something about you taking on the Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act?
Yes, we are looking into that, and definitely always going to be a supporter of our Second Amendment rights and want to make sure that we're doing everything to protect those rights for Americans. I know how important it is for my constituents in Louisiana, so you're always going to find me up here championing our Second Amendment rights.
What else you got on tap?
We had a big vote last night. I'm not sure if you were up late watching.
Oh my
that,
gosh, did I just bury the lead?
That's okay, Brian. No, I know. It was a late night. We were called back in after we couldn't pass the budget resolution the first time. But hey, kudos to Speaker Mike Johnson for getting Trump's agenda all the way through. If you've been paying attention, this budget resolution will be able to reauthorize the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which is huge to make sure that we're not placing a 22% tax increase on middle income families. So
so proud that we were able to get that through last minute last night, and just can't wait to continue that good work. It'll be a long process, Brian, but hey, this is the first start to addressing that mandate that the people gave us.
Just an overwhelming feeling of shame that we got to the last 30 seconds of the interview and like the biggest story of the day nationally. Thank you for the reminder.
You bet. That's what I'm here for.
She is Congresswoman Julia Letlow. We always appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
We'll talk to you next Wednesday after the State of the Union, which is, if Trump's first term is any indicator, is going to be another late night. Whew. If you love Donald Trump to your core, you still know I'm right. He can. The man can extemporize. All right, we got a break here coming up in just a second. Got to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. Want to remind the folks in the Highland Road, Kenilworth area, get ready. Mathern's is coming home. The OG location in Baton Rouge, formerly known as Kenilworth Supermarket, then became Robert's. Well, it's going back to being Mathern's. So the people you love, the prices you missed, they're all coming back. Highland at Kenilworth, Mathern's is on its way home. And let me give you the heads up here. If you download the Mathern's Rewards app, you can earn cash towards more groceries every time you shop. Get the app downloaded before they get moved in. Get ready to start saving on day one. And don't forget, they got the locations downtown and in the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center as well. It's Mathern's. Mary? We've got to get her giving longer answers. Seriously, the level of shame that I feel right now. I had a congresswoman on the phone, and I forgot to ask her about the effing budget. You know, I've spent so much time during the breaks responding to people who say, I can't hear you, you're staticky. I can't wait for this to be over with.
Yeah.
It's reassuring that many people would complain.
Right.
Like, I'm not hating on that.
I'm just glad we live in an era where there's alternatives, you know?
Yeah. What's up, Rocco? We're in commercial right now, yes. Okay. Second week of Lent. I'll get it down on the calendar as soon as the show's over with. All right, brother. Love you. 8:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Got your lunch plan squared away yet? If not, might I recommend PF Chang's. You know where to find them. They're in Town Center, right off Corporate Boulevard. Look for the giant golden horse. I went by PF Chang's. Had to grab some to go on Monday. Got the Asian Caesar salad. Added chicken to it, and I can't go wrong. It's such a simple salad too. The all the flavors in the dressing, and well, the flavors in the chicken as well. But flavors in the dressing. They add a little soy sauce there if you want that extra little pop on the back end. But such a simple salad between the lettuce and the crispy. I don't even know what they call those things. They're crisps, whatever, that are on top of it. Then you add the chicken and then the sesame seeds, and it's so light, so refreshing, so good to get you moving in the rest of your day. You know, normally when you think of takeout Chinese, you're thinking that just lumps in your stomach and sits there. No, you're going to get better ingredients at PF Chang's. You're going to get lighter fare, F-A-R-E, at PF Chang's. You're going to get food that is fuel for your body and tastes delicious and immaculate service as well over at PF Chang's. Yeah, I had to go the takeout route on Monday, but if you don't have lunch plans, go sit down, enjoy it. Your service is going to be beyond compare. The ambiance is fantastic, and the food is even better. Look for the giant golden horse at PF Chang's. Time for the outside in. Let's go. Starting off in Iberville Parish, the second Plaquemine ferry that runs early in the morning and during the afternoon commute will be temporarily out of service tomorrow. The ferry will be out of service for a routine annual inspection. Expected to be back in service by the time the afternoon hours are scheduled. Heading over to Iberia Parish, Cajun Industries received a warm welcome to the Port of Iberia with the help of Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry yesterday. What's going on? Well, Cajun Industries is looking to bring over 600 jobs to Iberia Parish with their new project. The company said the plan is to build a new modular fabrication yard over 60 acres of land. Closing out New Orleans. The upslope of the Crescent City connection on Highway 90 yesterday was an absolute mess in a wreck that can only happen here. A tractor pulling a float in King Arthur overturned Tuesday on the US 90 Chapatoulas off-ramp around 2:20 p.m. Now, when you've seen the parades go from place to place, you know one tractor and one float don't go alone. So what you had here was a traffic jam that included numerous other floats behind it. And it was backed up for miles. Started on the Chapatoulas ramp and backed all the way up to I-10, to be sure. NOPD said the tractor driver's okay. No one was injured. However, still unclear what caused the tractor to tip over. By the way, a new tractor was brought in, and the floats did make it to the route. That is the outside in. Hey, before we get you out of here, got to remind you about the folks over at Cajun Soft Wash. CajunSoftWash.com is the website. Somebody asked me yesterday about Cajun Soft Wash, and they were asking, like, what types of homes can you use with Cajun Soft Wash? Well, the answer is pretty much everybody. If you've got stucco, if you've got brick, whatever, it's soft wash. You're not pressure washing the you-know-what out of the side of your house. You're safely and effectively removing mold, mildew, and algae to make your home look great and extend the life of not just the sides of your house, but the roof as well. That algae will eat away at whatever you got going on. So hit up CajunSoftWash.com. Get yourself a quote. Oh, and if you needed to call them instead of the website, it's 612-5988. 612-5988. They'll do your home. They'll do your business. They'll get up on top and do your roof as well. And with the drone technology that they have, there is no place that is out of reach. Learn more at CajunSoftWash.com. Oh, parking lots. Yes. You go through wintertime, how much ick is just built up on the parking lot? They've got you covered there too. It all starts at CajunSoftWash.com. All right, we're just about out of here for today. Moon Griffon is coming up next. Tomorrow, we're going to have the Monopoly people on tomorrow. The big reveal yesterday. Baton Rouge Monopoly is a thing. It is here. What properties are on the board? Oh, we'll cover it all next. Of course, we'll have Crime Stoppers as well. Hopefully a cup of tech gumbo too. Stick around. Moon's coming up. We're out of here. See y'all. Oh, shoot. Sorry, y'all. All right. I've got a bunch to do before I get over to Rotary. I will see y'all tomorrow. Later.